What if the problem isn't your age, but what your body's missing? What if the quiet weakness, the slow mornings, the loss of that spark you used to take for granted has nothing to do with getting older and everything to do with what you no longer feed your body? For years, men over 60 have been told the same lie. That decline is natural, that you just have to accept weaker circulation, fading drive, restless nights, and the quiet frustration that comes with it. But what if I told you your body hasn't given up on you? It's just starving for the right fuel. I've spent 30 years sitting across from men who whisper the same sentence in different ways. Doc, I still feel like me, but my body doesn't listen anymore. They say it quietly, like a confession. But here's the truth I wish every man knew. You're not broken. You're depleted. Because beneath the skin, beyond the wrinkles and the years, your system still works. Your heart still pumps. Your nerves still fire. Your body still remembers. It's just missing the minerals, fats, and amino acids that make all those systems talk to each other. And the most powerful of those nutrients, the ones that can reignite your blood flow, rebuild your testosterone, and restore your confidence, are not in pills or injections. They're in something as simple as a handful of nuts. I know that sounds too simple, maybe even ridiculous. How could something you can buy at the grocery store fix something that expensive medicine can't? But science says otherwise. Inside certain nuts are the exact compounds your body needs to restore what time and diet have quietly stolen. Nitric oxide, zinc, selenium, magnesium, and healthy fats. These are not supplements, they're signals. When you eat the right nuts, in the right amounts, your blood vessels expand, your testosterone stabilizes, your inflammation calms, and the strength you thought you lost begins to come back. Quietly, naturally, permanently. But before we get there, let's talk about what's really happening to men after 60. It's not that the engine stops. It's that the oil runs dry. Years of poor sleep, stress, sugar, and neglect tighten your arteries and suffocate the blood flow that fuels everything: energy, mood, and performance. You start waking up slower. You stop feeling hungry for life. You think it's just normal aging. It's not. It's deficiency. And the cure isn't found in a pharmacy. It's found in understanding your biology again, what your body actually needs to feel alive. That's what this video is about. I'm not here to sell hope. I'm here to show you science. 5 simple nuts, proven by research, that can restore circulation, testosterone, and vitality for men over 60. Because every man deserves to feel like himself again, to wake up with energy, to move with confidence, to connect without fear. So before you reach for another pill, or tell yourself it's too late, listen closely. Because sometimes the most powerful medicine doesn't come from a bottle. It comes from a tree. Stay with me. In the next few minutes, we'll break down the 5 nuts that rebuild a man's strength from the inside out. The results don't happen overnight. They happen quietly, one handful at a time. And when they do, you'll understand something that medicine rarely tells you. It was never about getting older. It was about getting empty. And finally, learning how to fill yourself again. When I talk to men about vitality, I never start with testosterone. I start with flow. Blood flow, oxygen flow, energy flow. Because without it, nothing in your body works the way it should. The heart beats, but it struggles. The brain thinks, but slower. The body moves, but without rhythm. And the one area most men don't want to talk about, intimacy, depends entirely on that same flow. The truth is, most men over 60 don't have a testosterone problem. They have a circulation problem. The arteries that once carried oxygen freely have stiffened, inflamed, or narrowed after decades of stress, sugar, and poor nutrition. And when your circulation weakens, everything downstream weakens with it. Energy, memory, performance, confidence. Now, here's the part that most doctors never tell you. Inside your blood vessels lives a small molecule called nitric oxide, the molecule of flow. It signals your arteries to relax and expand, allowing blood to move freely through your body. But nitric oxide is fragile. It disappears fast, especially when your diet lacks the minerals and amino acids needed to produce it. That's where the right nuts make all the difference. Let's start with Brazil nuts. These are not just snacks. They're natural hormone stabilizers. They're rich in selenium, a trace mineral that acts like the ignition key for testosterone production. 1 or 2 Brazil nuts a day, that's it, can improve hormone balance, reduce inflammation, and support your liver, the organ that regulates sex hormones. Eat too many, and it's too much of a good thing. Eat just enough, and it's power disguised as simplicity. Next, walnuts. Nature's richest source of L-arginine, an amino acid that converts directly into nitric oxide. Think of them as fuel for flow. When you eat walnuts, you're giving your arteries the signal to open, your blood the permission to move, and your body the chemistry to perform again. Studies show that men who eat a handful of walnuts daily for 4 weeks see measurable improvement in circulation and response. Then we have almonds, humble but mighty. They carry magnesium, zinc, and vitamin E, 3 nutrients that protect your nerves, feed your muscles, and balance your hormones. Zinc helps rebuild testosterone receptors, magnesium calms inflammation, and vitamin E protects your blood vessel walls from oxidative stress. The result? A calmer mind, steadier energy, and a body that feels like it's breathing again. Every one of these nuts works differently, but together they build a foundation for recovery, not instant results, but sustainable repair. It's not about force, it's about feeding the systems that have been starving. You might wonder, Doc, can eating a few nuts really make that much difference? The answer is yes, when you understand biology. Because your body doesn't forget how to work, it just runs out of what it needs. And when you supply those missing nutrients, it begins to respond quickly, sometimes within days. One of my patients, Alan, 68, told me, Doc, I've been on every pill they sell. Nothing worked for long. But after a month of your nut ritual, something shifted. I didn't just feel more energy, I felt more alive. That's what happens when flow returns. It's not adrenaline. It's clarity. It's balance. It's your body remembering how to cooperate with itself. These foods don't stimulate. They restore. They tell your system that it's safe to function again. And when your body feels safe, it begins to rebuild. So, if you've been chasing strength in bottles or powders, stop. Look at your kitchen instead. Because the solution isn't in another supplement. It's in what you eat with purpose and patience. And we're not done yet. There are 2 more nuts and 1 quiet nighttime secret that most men overlook, but together They complete the cycle of repair, fueling flow, calming inflammation, and restoring confidence from the inside out. Stay with me. The best is yet to come. If Brazil nuts, walnuts, and almonds rebuild the foundation of a man's vitality, then pistachios and macadamias are what bring it to life again. They don't just support blood flow, they sustain it. They don't force energy, they teach the body how to stay open, relaxed, and strong. And when paired with one small nightly ritual, they complete what I call the circle of restoration. Let's begin with pistachios. Small, green, and often underestimated, they're one of the richest natural sources of arginine, the same amino acid that fuels nitric oxide, the molecule that makes erections possible. But pistachios do more than increase blood flow. They also improve cholesterol balance, protect the lining of your arteries, and calm the inflammation that slowly erodes testosterone. In one study, men who ate pistachios daily for just 3 weeks saw a 20% improvement in blood flow and self-reported performance. That's not hype, that's circulation doing what it's meant to do. Pistachios are unique because they support not just the physical part of manhood, but the emotional one. When your blood flow improves, so does your confidence. When you feel connection return, not just physically, but emotionally, the mind follows the body back to balance. That's what most men never expect. As their circulation strengthens, so does their sense of self. Next, there's macadamia nuts. Smooth, buttery, full of monounsaturated fats, the same kind that make olive oil a heart food. These fats are essential for hormone health. Testosterone is built from cholesterol, and when you give your body the right fats, it makes hormones more efficiently. Macadamias also reduce insulin spikes and oxidative stress, meaning your arteries stay open and your metabolism stays steady. Just a small handful a day, 5 or 6 nuts, can make a measurable difference in cardiovascular health and hormone production. What I love most about macadamias is how quietly they work. They don't cause rushes or crashes. They restore balance. They make your energy stable, your mood calm, and your heart and hormones work together instead of against each other. Now, let's talk about the secret that ties it all together: the nighttime walnut ritual. Most men think the body builds itself during the day, but that's not true. The body rebuilds at night, in sleep, when nitric oxide, growth hormone, and testosterone are at their peak. So what you feed your body before sleep matters. One small handful of walnuts before bed, nothing more, can dramatically improve your nitric oxide levels overnight. It's because of a compound called melatonin that walnuts naturally contain, along with arginine and magnesium. Together, they help your blood vessels relax, your nervous system calm, and your testosterone rise naturally during deep sleep. You'll wake not just rested, but restored. I had a patient named Frank, 72, who told me, "Doc, I did everything you said, but that night walnut thing, that's when I started waking up with energy again." He smiled, embarrassed, but proud. It's been years since I felt that alive in the morning. That's what happens when you stop fighting your body and start feeding it. The change doesn't come like lightning. It comes like sunrise. Slow, steady, undeniable. These simple foods, pistachios, macadamias, and walnuts before bed, don't just nourish your body. They reprogram it. They teach your system that it's safe to flow, to restore, to remember what vitality feels like. And when you combine them with the other nuts, Brazil nuts, walnuts, almonds, something powerful happens. Your blood pressure eases, your inflammation lowers, your testosterone rises naturally, and your energy returns. Not because of medication, but because of rhythm. The rhythm your body always knew, but forgot. So as you finish this video, remember, you don't need to chase youth. You just need to feed strength. One handful, one evening, one breath at a time. Because real recovery doesn't shout, it whispers. It happens in the silence of good sleep, the softness of blood moving freely again, and the quiet satisfaction of a body that finally remembers how to trust itself. Stay with me, because in the next and final part, we'll talk about legacy, what it truly means to age with power, and how these small daily rituals can redefine not just your health, but your dignity as a man. There's a moment in every man's life, somewhere after 60, when he begins to wonder if his best days are behind him. The body slows, the energy fades, the mirror starts showing someone older than the man he still feels like inside. But here's the truth I've learned after 3 decades of medicine. Strength doesn't leave you. It just changes its language. It stops shouting through power and speed and starts whispering through rhythm, balance, and awareness. When I look at the men who age well, they all have one thing in common. They make peace with their bodies. They stop trying to be who they were, and they start supporting who they are. That's what this journey has been about. Not perfection, not youth. Restoration. The return of flow. The quiet confidence that comes from knowing your body still works, and that you can trust it again. These nuts, Brazil, walnut, almond, pistachio, macadamia, are not just food. They're symbols of that philosophy. Each one feeds a different system. One fuels hormones, one calms inflammation, one rebuilds blood flow, one stabilizes energy, one protects the heart. But together, they form something much larger, a daily ritual of self-respect. Most men spend their lives giving, to work, to family, to everyone but themselves. By the time they stop to look back, they realize they've given away the one thing they needed to keep, their own vitality. But it's never too late to take it back. You don't need a doctor's prescription to reclaim strength. You just need awareness, patience, and the willingness to care for yourself the way you've always cared for others. That's what I tell my patients when they ask if it's really possible to feel strong again after 60. I tell them about Richard, 69, who started every morning with Brazil nuts and ended every night with walnuts. "Doc," he said, "I didn't just feel better. I started believing in my body again." That belief is everything. Once you trust your body, it starts trusting you back. There's a quiet dignity that comes with living in rhythm. You wake up lighter. You breathe deeper. You move without fear. You don't chase energy anymore. It meets you halfway. That's not luck. That's balance. That's biology working the way it's meant to. The older I get, the more I realize that health isn't about adding years to your life. It's about adding life to your years. Every glass of water, every handful of nuts, every breath of calm you take is a declaration. I'm still here, and I still matter. And that's the message I want every man watching this to remember. You are not broken. You are not past your prime. You are a living system waiting to be tuned, not replaced. The years behind you have made you wiser, steadier, stronger than you realize. So tomorrow morning, when you open your hand and take those few simple nuts, remember what you're really holding. Not food, but permission. Permission to begin again, to flow again, to feel again. Aging is not decline. It's refinement. It's the stage of life when strength becomes quieter, but deeper. It's when power stops being about control and starts being about connection between you and your body, you and your rhythm, you and your peace. So keep the ritual alive. Every morning, every night. Feed your body. Trust the process. Respect the years, but never surrender to them. Because strength never truly leaves a man. It only waits for him to remember where it lives. If legacy is about strength that stays, then ritual is how you keep it alive. Real health isn't built from big promises or weekend efforts. It's built in the quiet, predictable moments that you repeat every day until your body begins to trust you again. You don't need to overhaul your life. You just need to design small rhythms that align with how your body wants to live. I tell my patients the same thing. Your body doesn't heal because you demand it to. It heals when you give it rhythm. A man's chemistry thrives on consistency. The same way you used to tune an engine, you now tune yourself through hydration, nourishment, breath, and rest. That's how the machine runs smoothly again. So here's what I call the daily ritual of renewal. It's simple, sustainable, and powerful because it speaks the language your body already knows. Morning, ignition. Start your day not with caffeine, but with calm. Before you reach for coffee, reach for a glass of warm water with a squeeze of lemon. Hydration is the first signal of safety your body receives after sleep. It wakes the kidneys, flushes the liver, and restores pH balance. Then, eat with intention. 2 Brazil nuts and a handful of almonds or walnuts. This combination activates hormone balance and flow chemistry without spiking your blood sugar. If you prefer a full meal, pair them with eggs, avocado, or Greek yogurt, foods that stabilize energy and rebuild testosterone naturally. Midday. Maintenance. By the time the afternoon arrives, circulation begins to slow again. Don't fight it with stimulants. Move instead. 10 minutes of walking, even inside your house, is enough to keep your nitric oxide levels active. Drink a small glass of water with a pinch of baking soda. This neutralizes acid and helps sustain energy. A handful of pistachios or a few slices of cucumber and watermelon will refresh your circulation better than any energy drink could. Evening. Restoration. Evenings are where most men lose their rhythm. Heavy meals, screens, and late-night stress. But this is when your body is preparing to repair itself. Eat lighter, focus on protein and vegetables. And then, the secret step, your nighttime walnut ritual. 5 or 6 walnuts before bed, eaten slowly, followed by 3 deep breaths. This small act triggers nitric oxide, melatonin, and magnesium release, helping your arteries relax and your testosterone recover overnight. I've watched men transform with this single habit. David, 71, told me, "Doc, I used to drag myself out of bed. Now I wake up ready to move. I didn't change my life. I just changed my rhythm." That's the essence of health after 60. Not working harder, but living smarter. This ritual isn't about restriction. It's about respect. For the body that's carried you through 6 decades of storms, work, and love. You're not punishing it for aging. You're thanking it by giving it what it's been missing. And as weeks turn into months, something happens that science can't quite measure. You begin to feel whole again. Your mornings become easier. Your breath feels fuller. You stop surviving and start living. Every nut, every glass of water, every slow breath, they're not chores. They're proof that you still care. And care, at this stage of life, is what separates men who fade from men who flourish. Because the truth is, vitality doesn't return in one day. It returns one decision at a time. So tomorrow, start again. Repeat the ritual. Listen to your body. Let the flow return. And when it does, you'll realize something most men never do. That aging isn't the end of energy. It's the beginning of awareness. Every ritual becomes stronger when you understand why it works. Men often ask me, "Doc, how can something so simple make such a difference?" The answer is biology. Pure, predictable, repairable biology. Once you understand the systems inside your body, you stop treating it like a mystery and start treating it like a masterpiece that just needs tuning. Let's begin with the heart of it all, nitric oxide. This tiny molecule is what allows your arteries to open and your blood to flow. It's the bridge between your heart and every other part of your body, your brain, your muscles, and yes, your most intimate areas. When nitric oxide drops, so does your energy, clarity, and confidence. The body becomes tense, cold, and slow. After 60, your production of nitric oxide can fall by more than half. But here's the good news. It's one of the easiest things to restore if you feed it what it needs. That's where the right nuts come in. Walnuts and pistachios are rich in L-arginine, an amino acid that converts into nitric oxide naturally. It's like giving your arteries a message. Relax. Open up. Flow again. Every time you eat these foods, you're not just nourishing yourself. You're reactivating the chemistry of movement. Brazil nuts work differently. Their secret weapon is selenium. Think of selenium as a spark plug for your hormones. It helps your thyroid and testicles produce testosterone efficiently. Without it, your hormone production becomes sluggish. Just 1 or 2 Brazil nuts a day provide your full daily requirement. No supplements needed, no side effects, just natural restoration. Then there's magnesium, found in almonds and walnuts. This mineral is often called the calm strength nutrient because it relaxes your blood vessels while stabilizing your nerves. Magnesium lowers cortisol, the stress hormone that kills testosterone and stiffens arteries. When you combine magnesium with zinc, also found in almonds, you're giving your body the chemistry to produce hormones and manage stress at the same time. Macadamia nuts add the finishing touch. They contain monounsaturated fats, the same heart-protective oils found in olive oil and avocados. These fats lower inflammation, stabilize blood sugar, and help your cells absorb fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin E, which protects the lining of your arteries from oxidative damage. That's why men who eat healthy fats tend to have smoother circulation, sharper focus, and steadier energy. And finally, the nighttime walnut ritual isn't just tradition. It's science at work while you sleep. Walnuts contain melatonin, arginine, and tryptophan, which together signal your body to relax blood vessels and release growth hormone and testosterone during deep sleep. You're not just resting. you're rebuilding. When you understand this, you realize you're not just eating, you're participating in a biochemical repair process. Every handful of nuts, every slow breath, every good night's sleep contributes to your body's ability to regenerate itself. This isn't guesswork or placebo. It's cellular logic. The body heals in rhythm, and these foods restore that rhythm. I remember one of my older patients, Henry, 74, who told me, "Doc, I didn't believe you when you said it was all chemistry. But after 2 months, I'm walking faster, sleeping deeper, and my blood pressure is lower. My wife says I laugh more. Is that nitric oxide too?" I smiled and said, "That's called flow, Henry. It's everywhere once you let it back in." Science explains what your body already knows. That balance breeds energy, and energy breeds strength. Once you give your body the tools, it does the rest. So the next time you reach for that handful of nuts, remember, you're not snacking. You're signaling. You're giving your body permission to flow, to rebuild, to remember. Because the human body, even after 60, is not fragile. It's responsive. It listens. And when you feed it truth, it answers. At some point in every man's life, usually after 60, something shifts. You stop chasing speed and start searching for steadiness. You stop trying to outwork time and start learning how to work with it. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. Aging isn't a loss of power. It's the evolution of it. And the men who live well beyond 60 aren't the ones who cling to youth. They're the ones who learn how to feed strength differently. That's what this entire journey has been about. Not quick fixes, not miracle supplements. Just understanding your body again. Its rhythms, its needs, its silence. Because the truth is, your body never stopped trying to serve you. It's just been waiting for you to listen. When you bring rhythm back, hydration in the morning, clean nourishment through the day, rest and repair at night, something profound happens. Your chemistry aligns with your choices. Your energy becomes calm instead of chaotic. Your strength turns inward, quieter but deeper. You don't move fast, but you move right. I've seen it in hundreds of men, from retired engineers to farmers, soldiers to teachers. Once they started living with rhythm instead of reaction, their lives changed. Their blood pressure steadied. Their sleep deepened. Their confidence returned. And they began to see aging not as decline, but as refinement. The stage of life where everything unnecessary burns away, leaving only what's essential. Harold, 70, said it best. "Doc, I don't want to be young again. I just want to feel like me again." And that's what strength after 60 really means. Not youth, but identity. Feeling like yourself again, present in your body, awake in your own life. You see, living stronger isn't about fighting age. It's about mastering it. You master it when you learn what to feed, when to rest, when to move, and when to be still. You master it when you stop comparing yourself to who you were and start respecting who you are now. Wiser, calmer, more deliberate. That's the heart of Lessons Through Life's Lens. This isn't a channel about anti-aging. It's about pro-living. It's about learning the small disciplines that make your years feel full, your body feel capable, and your mind feel clear. Because longevity isn't the goal. Quality is. When you choose real food over convenience, stillness over noise, flow over force, you start aging on your own terms. You stop seeing your 60s or 70s as the end of vitality, and you start seeing them as the beginning of mastery. So tomorrow, as you hold that handful of nuts or prepare your morning water, remember, you're not following a rule, you're creating a ritual. Every simple act of care is a promise between you and your body, a promise that says, I'm not done. I'm still building. I'm still alive. And that's the truth I want every man watching this to remember. You are not fading. You're refining. You're not losing strength. You're learning where it truly lives. Because real power doesn't come from being young. It comes from being aware, from knowing your body, respecting your rhythm, and living with purpose in every breath. So stay with me, here on Lessons Through Life's Lens. Every story, every lesson, every small step we share is about one thing: helping you live stronger, not younger. You can't stop time, but you can decide what it does to you. Choose flow. Choose balance. Choose strength, the kind that never leaves.